Hi, you're listening to Book Chat with author Vivian E. Moore.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hello and welcome to Book Chat. I am your host, author Vivian E. Moore. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I hope you had a good week. I hope you're having a great weekend. I hope you got the chance to get outside. I know where we are, it has been extremely hot and humid. And believe it or not, we have not had a lot of rain this season. But it did rain last night, and when I went outside today, I took a look at my grass because everybody is suffering from the same effects of this drought that we've been having. And the grass is like crunchy and it's gone dormant pretty much is what's happened. But I went out today because we did get some rain last night in the wee hours of the morning. It rained, and I'm thinking it was a substantial rain because it was muddy. The yard was, some of the patches where there's no grass was muddy, and then the grass looks like it had a healthy dose of water because it's green again and looking very lively. So I thank God for the rain. So he knows when to send it and knows what we need when we need. So I'm glad for that. All right, folks. So let's get right to today's show. I'm happy to be here. Let me just say that first and foremost, and I'm glad that you're here too. Tuning in. We're live right now. So last week, just let me mention this, that I noticed that I had a chat session, and I just want to tell the listeners that all the time I don't have the my studio screen up because I'm looking at my computer. I'm looking at my the legend that I go by each week. I always write a script for the show. And so that's usually what I'm looking at. So I'm not looking at the studio. So I didn't know that that someone wanted to chat with me while I was online. So what I'm going to attempt to do today is just click back and forth to make sure if anyone is out there that I'll be able to acknowledge them, while the show is still live. All right. So the title of today's show is Worth More Than Gold. And the topic is the importance of book reviewers. All right, so whoever coined the phrase, silence is golden, well, they didn't know that for authors, it means the survival of our books. In any business, silence from consumers is deadly. Now, I know sometimes, when we depend upon consumers to give us reviews, to rate us, whatever the case may be. We always want that 100%. We always want the best. But sometimes that doesn't always happen. And so, don't think bad of those reviewers when they do this, because they're giving you their honest opinion. And quite frankly, that should be what you want from them. All right. So we want and need to hear from you, the consumers, the reviewers, anyone who buys our books, who are a fan of ours. We want to hear from you. And I'm speaking from an author's perspective, because I know that how necessary book reviews are. Our livelihood is partially based on your critiques, and that's the truth. I'm just going to tell you, I have gone out there because I read probably more books than I've ever written. And so, and I'm just like everybody else, when you want to find a good book, the first thing you do is you go to the reviews. You want to see how many people have reviewed this book to see if it's worth your time. Now, sometimes authors, they get a raw deal because the book may be relatively new, or maybe they didn't have a good promotion, whatever the case may be. Sometimes the reviews are low, but the thing of it is that I have read a great many books where there were few reviews, but the books were dynamic. They were so good. And I was like, why in the world hadn't somebody, said anything about this book yet? Because it is so worth reading. There are so many authors out there, so much talent out there that's being overlooked because, we're skipping over those books that have the low reviews to move to the ones that have great reviews. And let me just share this with you. Sometimes those books that have the great reviews, sometimes those books are just crap. And I'm just going to be honest and say that because it's the truth, Now, I know we should be careful what we ask for because often book viewers' words can cut you deep now. They really can. Because what they say, it ain't always great. So that just speaks to what I just said about sometimes books having very high reviews and the books are not that good. They're really not that good. But I think maybe it's because of the author, and they have a great fan following. And so, they love whatever the author does. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because it's not. If you have fans, you have fans. They believe in you no matter what. And that's how it should be. But still, your comments and opinions are necessary to the life of an author. Book sales and future readers depend on you to speak your piece, whether good or bad. And to be honest, I'd rather have a reader tell me exactly what they loved or hated about my book. This way, when the next reader scrolls through the list of potential books, they'll know what they're getting. Having the skinny on anything, especially books, is vital. It's vital to the reader because you have to think about it. They are the ones who are spending their dimes to buy your book. And, just about everybody I know works for a living. And so you do not want to spend your hard-earned cash on something that wasn't worth it. So if you can get a review or read a review first before you actually make that purchase, then that's a good thing. And you will never hear me, downgrade any reviewer or review because, again, I'll say they are vital to the success of an author or their books to have those reviews out there. And it's the consumer's right to tell you what they like or what they didn't like about that book. So I don't ever think bad of them when they do that. But, the real reason I love reviews is that they publicize what you already know is true about your book. And the more said, the more other readers are likely to choose your book based on what previous readers have pronounced as the gospel truth. I've had a host of reviews and can say most of them have been favorable, if not glowing. And, what author doesn't like great reviews? I've always said that constructive criticism isn't meant to damage your career, but to point out your weaknesses so you can work on making them into strengths. I think that that's very important because if you're always getting good reports on your books or on anything that you do from your fan base or whatever, sometimes it's good to have someone who is not a part of that fan base to come in and actually give a review it's not biased and will be honest and tell you, because sometimes you need to know, if what you've written is crap or if it's just that great, that they want to share it with the world. And that's how it should be. We should not ever get so high and mighty of an opinion about ourselves to think that we can't ever write something that's bad, because that's not true. Because I've read quite a few books from authors that I'm familiar with, that I've read many of their books, but then, sometimes they write a book it's just not that great, and so it happens to the best of us. Sometimes when you are, part of this high demand you are expected to, to put these books out. They need to roll out, And sometimes you don't get to ponder on what you're doing because everything is so systematic when it comes to book productions. When you are affiliated with conventional with the conventional way of book publishing, so you have people basically breathing down your neck telling you, okay, you need to hurry up, you need to do this, you need to get this book written, because they have a step-by-step process, and dates that they want to have these books out, because you're not the only client that they have, or the only author that they have. They deal with hundreds of authors, that they have to try to keep on task because they have a schedule, for the next project to come out. So it's a lot. And so sometimes, under these conditions, the publisher may like the book, they may like it, and they figure that your fans will like it. But then you get that one new person, that may read that book and say, well, I didn't like it, and they're being honest. So you need to hear that sometimes. It's not bad. Constructive criticism is not a bad thing. It's good for you because it promotes growth. And we all need that. We don't ever want to become stagnant, just stuck in a rut because this is what you've always done, because this is what has always been expected of you, to stay in this lane and you don't veer from it. But sometimes you need someone to tell you, hey, you can do better. This could have been better. I don't like it for this reason, or whatever the reason is, but it gives you something to work with, something to go back in and say, okay, well, let me see what I can change, because, sometimes the same formula, it works. And I've heard people say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But sometimes you can add to that. You're not trying to fix it. You're just trying to make it better by adding to it. So that's not a bad thing, and you need to do that. And what I've learned a lot about book reviews and how they aid your success, especially book enthusiasts that host book club meetings. Because you've always wondered how they know which books to choose. Well, it's because of those book reviews that are out there, and they go out there and they listen to television. When Oprah was on, Oprah would have her Book of the Month club. And she would tell you, which book she absolutely loved. And she may still do it, in her magazine that she has. But on her show, when it was on, because I was one of those viewers. I loved Oprah. And I would always listen to the books that she reviewed. And some of them I would go out there and read a little bit. And I'm like, this book is crap. I don't like anything about this book. But, something in it struck a chord in her. So, of course, she wanted to share it. And, and I'm the same way, too. When I read other authors' books, what I love about the book, someone else may hate. So, that's just the toss of the coin. Sometimes you like it and someone else may hate it. That's just the way it goes. But still, those reviews attached to your book is probably the reason why the book clubs are choosing, one book over another. Overall, book reviews are necessary, because it validates you as a writer, and it shows that you have an established audience who are loyal and dedicated to helping you achieve your goals. But just remember, talk is cheap, but some words are worth more than gold. All right, folks, that's all I have for you today. But before I let you go, last week I let you slip away and I didn't give you any of my URLs. So I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to make sure that you get the information that you need so you can stay in contact with me. All right? Okay, so here we go. So, of course, the first one is to my Spreaker. It is https://www.spreaker.com/user/author Vivian E. Moore. You can always follow me, like me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And generally, you can just type in my name. You can go to Google and search me, because I have several different pages on Facebook. So, and I never know which one I'm giving you. But anyway, if you just go to Google, you can just type in my name, Vivian E. Moore, Facebook, and generally it'll take you to the right page. All right. So in Instagram and Twitter, you can find me that way as well. I'm out there. Also, you can go to my website if you want to see what's out there. That one is it's https://www.viviannemore.com. I like that. And I'm sorry, it's authorvivianemore.com. Let me make sure I give you the right URL, otherwise you won't be able to find me. And two, if you want to go out and look at the blog, I will upload today's script to the blog, so you can go out there and check it out, and the previous ones as well. And that is at https://vivianemore.blogsite.com. And if you missed the live show today, you can listen to it, the recorded version on iTunes, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, and there are a couple more. And you know what? I always say that I'm going to go out there and locate the ones the additional ones. But I think that's enough. That's a good start right there. If you do follow the show, and if you do listen to the show, do me a favor and go out there and like it on iTunes, or go to Spreaker and like the show, and like it on Facebook, and leave me a review. If you don't mind, you can do that. All right. Well, tomorrow is worship day, and I hope that you're planning on going to church tomorrow. If I had gone camping with my children this weekend, they all went camping. All four of them went camping. And I wonder how that's going to work out for them. But I think it'll be pretty good, because they get along pretty well. But anyway, they all went camping this weekend. And, you know, I'm not an outdoorsy type of girl. I like air conditioning. I don't like bugs and things of that nature. So, of course, that's why I'm here doing the show today. But anyway, I had to do the show because, you know, I can't do it mobile. I have to be where there is the internet, you know, and my microphone and my computer, so I couldn't take any of those things with me. But still, I hope that they're having a wonderful time. But anyway, tomorrow is worship day, and oh my gosh, I have to share this with you. We were supposed to have an annual worship in the park. We have it every single year. We haven't missed a year in I don't know how many years of doing it. But anyway, we had to change the location this year because the usual spot where we go was supposed to be under construction, so we had to choose another area, and we did that. And so yesterday here, the main water main of the city, it broke, and it broke like early in the morning. So anyway, they had to close schools. The hospitals were like on high alert as far as doing surgeries. They were only doing necessary surgeries and things of that nature. Anything else had to be rescheduled. They were asking the patients to not shower and not flush toilets. Hotels were actually using water from the pools to flush the toilets. It was a mess. But anyway, the park that we were scheduled to go to for tomorrow, we had to actually tell everyone not to go there yesterday to prepare them for tomorrow, to just come to our church, because that's where we'll be having our annual worship in the park. We'll be having worship at the church tomorrow, which is a great thing. But you know, sometimes we like to be able to just get away from the church campus, and you know, and just do those things together. You know, in a place where everyone can, you know, so to speak, let their hair down. You know, we don't do alcoholic beverages and things of that nature, but you know, sometimes it's just good to have a different change of scenery. But anyway, I hope that you're planning on going to church, and I hope that you're not having the problems that we've been having, because actually we still have to boil water because our main water system went down. So that means that bacteria or whatever else has the possibility of being in the water. So they strongly suggest that you boil it for at least 3 minutes, you know, and don't even brush your teeth with the water that comes out of the tap. They want you to use filtered water, you know, water in a bottle or whatever, you know, other than water that comes out of the tap. The only thing basically you can use the water in the tap for is to take a bath or wash your clothes, things of that nature, but nothing else. But anyway, I hope you're planning on going to church. I hope you're planning on taking some friends with you, some family members most certainly, and children. Please take some children with you to church tomorrow. And tell someone that you love them, because tomorrow is not promised. Today may be the only chance we get to say that. So I love you. I hope you love me back. Until the next time you hear my voice, God bless you and goodbye.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.